Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. No matter when you're tuning in, and no matter where you're tuning in from, we want to say greetings to you. My name is Jajuan Sanders, and I'm joined by my
Mhm.
friend, my brother, and my fellow co-host of the Two Young Pastors podcast, Elijah Stanley, also known
Mhm.
as Dino, the Dinosaur.
They're gonna out me.
And man, we just want to welcome you back to another episode of the Two Young Pastors podcast, where we, two young pastors, indeed, we talk about Christianity, we talk about spirituality, and we also
Yeah,
talk about the Christian lifestyle. Man, how you feeling today? How you feeling?
man, it's been a good day, bro. Got a few things done in the morning. I know that we were able to kind of get a more regular schedule. We're having some this like we were talking about this. I think maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah,
How how even though speaking and preaching isn't the biggest things that we do, it's the most visible. And your schedule is more or less kind of built around that portion, even though it's about, I would say, like 15-20%
yeah,
of what you do at church, and the other 80% is different. But that 15 to 20% of speaking really does take up about what, like 8 to 15 hours in a week,
mhm,
out of like a 40-hour workday or work week.
yeah,
And this week is different, where I had a few speaking engagements kind of back to back, and now it's starting to pick up again. But it's out of prepping. What I love to do, bro, outside of that, is really like put together some gear.
yeah,
And I'm actually in my office right now, and we're putting together some gear. Like if I turn this camera around, you could see like all the gear. Actually, I'm gonna just do it. Like you could see like all of the gear that
mercy,
like we kind of have. Yeah, and we're gonna just like start to like build out this rack for like live streaming out of my office. So there's like there's a like a bunch of stuff that we have to do. The office is messy, but like I know that at the end of it, when the
yeah,
product is pushed out, I know that
yeah.
people are gonna be blessed by it, bro. So it's been a good week. A good week. How about you?
Man, same. Life is still good. Lots of ships coming soon. Lots of ships coming very soon.
Yeah.
Can't really announce it just yet, but lots of ships coming soon, and I'm going to be preaching a whole lot more, just like you. Um, and can't wait for it. Can't wait for it.
Mm,
But I'm doing well, man. Doing well. And dude, I think I know we talked about the Shannon Sharp situation, a couple episodes ago,
yeah.
but and definitely y'all should definitely go check that out. Check that episode out.
Mhm.
But dude, what's really been on my mind is kind of sort of just like relationships, because I think
Mm,
that there have been a lot of things that's been happening in life recently,
yeah.
um, that's necessary for like uh and for you to know who is really who. Like I said, me and Janelle, we're engaged now. We're officially fiancés, and so you know, always a round of applause, right? That's my girl. That's my girl. And listen, bro, because of that, as a result, we now have to really figure out who really matters in our lives. You know,
Oh, no.
and not just who matters, but
Yeah.
who's like acquaintance, who's friend, who
Yeah.
is best friend in a circle,
Mhm.
who is
Mhm.
family,
Yeah.
because you're going to be picking things like you're going to be picking groomsmen, bridesmaids, best
Yeah.
man, all
Yeah.
that stuff, and so because of that, like it's a very important season for us to really figure out um, well, who means what to you,
Who
and
means
so it
what?
really
Yeah.
just got me thinking about relationships, and
Yeah.
man, that's what I want to talk about today, because me and Janelle realized, like, hey, our bridesmaids and groomsmen, that bridal party will either be like extremely like large, uh, or there may be a couple of people who may feel a certain type of way, who may feel a certain type.
Mm,
And so that's
I feel
really
that.
what's coming up for me. And so, bro, I want to ask, like, have you ever been in a situation where you had to reassess any relationship, not familial, right? Because you can
Yeah.
pick your friends, you can't really pick and choose your family. The only
No.
thing you can really do with your family is pick and choose how much distance you'll have.
I love that.
uh, but between you and your family at a certain point in time. But like,
Yeah.
bro, has there ever been any situation or point in time in your life when you kind of sort of had to reassess what is this relationship, and you know, talk to me.
Yeah. Like I hate to put it in high school terms, but we kind of have to go back to high school because I think
Yeah.
there was some truth in like our high school terminology, right? Because
Hmm.
we're saying acquaintances, friends, best friends, and it sounds like we're going back into high school,
Yeah.
but I found that we need to bring back acquaintances. Like
Mm,
we have to bring back the idea of putting people in that category, and it's
yeah.
not because they're not valuable, right? Like it's not because they don't bring value,
Yeah.
but it's because information needs to be compartmentalized. And with acquaintances, they have the lowest security clearance possible, right?
Yes.
And we need to bring that back because I've gotten myself in trouble sharing a high level um, information with
Confidential.
people, confidential information, top
Private.
secret information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with individuals that have not been vetted,
Mhm.
and I'm using the security apparatus terms in this because I think it really captures it well. Like we're sharing, or I used to share some information that I thought was just normal to share,
Yeah.
but then turns out that not everyone is sharing. Like there are people that will ask you to share your information, but then not share theirs.
True.
And what I've learned in this process, bro, is that we can't we have to really be mindful of those individuals
Yeah.
because my my parents in our language in Tamil have this phrase, why take a snake off the ground and put it on yourself,
Hmm.
right? Like there are some people that I hate to say this, but they just operate like snakes.
Yeah.
And why would you then go out of your way, pick them up, and then bring them into your life when really allow them to slither away? So
Yeah.
when I think about that, bro, that's what pops in my head right away.
So
And
you
I
have.
had this man, like we were talking about this, and we both have some stories in it. One
Yeah.
of the stories that 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 I think a lot of us have these stories. One that pops up into my mind right away is I am struggling to find people in high school that I am still friends with. Like in terms of they're like a staple in my life. And those people I really would say fall into those acquaintances. Like I still follow them on Instagram. I still like their stories if they're being engaged. I still like, like being a part of the outer circle of their life. And I used to think when I was in high school that that was it. These are the friends for life. And really out of that, only about 4 of them
Hmm.
that I'm close with right now because of them being in my church.
Gotcha.
So all of my public school friends, I would say most of them, a majority of them, I don't really interact with outside of social media, and if I see them, like,
It's kind
here
of
or there.
scary. It's kind of scary. Like, it's kind of
Why?
scary. Only because, like, I think that for the most part, your friends are pretty adventurous. and the,
They are. No, no,
and the
well,
same
now they're
thing with
not.
me. And the same thing with
They're not. They're
really.
not. I'm not sure if I told you, yeah, but, like, uh I don't wanna out them because, we're a close-knit group and our
Yeah.
parents all know each other, but they
Understood.
they
Friends, these friends. Okay.
right, there are friends that I have that are close that no longer believe,
But
right?
pause, pause,
Yeah.
pause, pause. But so real quick, I just want to say like, even though they're not believers,
Mhm.
like the thing that kind of sort of connected you is the fact that you knew them
Right.
from church. You knew them
From
from church.
church.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I meant. That's what I meant.
We might not share the same belief system anymore, but you're right. Like we definitely were brought together because of church. Now, what I will say is that in college, I made some friends,
Hmm.
and even now that are not real believers. They're
Yeah,
kind of all within that. They're at church every once in a while, and now they're not.
yeah,
Right now, I would say the majority of my friends really are ones that go to church, and
yeah.
I think that's just because of
Lifestyle.
lifestyle, right? Like there's it's not like I sat down one day and I decided to cut through all my friends that didn't go to church.
Yeah,
It was just these are the people I spend the most time with. But what I don't do is I don't go through my Instagram followers or people I follow and say, "Hey, you don't believe in God or you're not in church, so I'm not gonna follow you anymore." That's
that's a
th-
lot.
that's
Lot.
that's what I don't do because
That's
that's
a
for
lot.
me that's crazy, bro.
Yes,
Um, like we had some shared
agreed.
experiences. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and bro, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that you don't do that. That would be a lot. You know, I don't think you have to cut people off just because they don't agree in the same with the same thing that you agree with. I think that it's a little different than how like the Israelites were. I know like God wanted the Israelites to like completely be separated from certain groups of
Right,
people,
right.
but I think it was under different circumstances. It was
Right.
under completely different circumstances. Now, in the world that we live in the world that we live in, it's impossible. It's impossible
Mhm,
not to be amongst individuals who may have different religious values
mhm,
and different moral principles. And so I think that, you know, what the Israelites in the Bible, what they could have gotten away with, I don't think that we can get away with now. It just doesn't make sense.
but, like, what like, who do we evangelize,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like, that's the first question that pops in my mind is if we're cutting off individuals that don't believe in the exact same thing, and what's crazy, bro, is that even in the church,
yeah.
there are individuals that will cut themselves off from other people within their own church because they don't share the same theological perspective on a certain issue,
Mm,
uh, and for me, that's crazy. Like,
yeah,
there are already a certain minority of people that believe in what you do, and then
mhm.
you take the extra step of alienating them because they don't believe in the same thing that you do in the same way. For
Yeah.
me, that is an extra like step that is wild. But bro, are you still friends with people? Say like you went to high school with, that you went to college with?
Not most, not most. And here's the reason why. Like, I think that I've actually been able to like really find, um, like much more mature and better friendships, relationships since college. Like there are just a few people I can name them on my hand who I allow myself to really engage with
Mhm,
from high school. And I think it's because of the fact that like when I think back on it, um the friendships that I had, I don't think that they were mature enough to stand the test of time, if that makes sense.
mm,
And here's the thing: back in high school, I think I had an understanding and a definition of friendship that is completely different from what I believe friends are supposed to be for me now. Back in high school, friendship was just about, you know, hey, who am I having fun with? Possibly what do we have in common? What are some things that we're interested in? But now, friendship is more so about like, hey, who can I go to with my stuff, with
mm,
my personal things, my gripes, my fallings, the areas of growth. Who can I really go to with those things? That's really who I reserve
that's good.
the friend title for, because I've learned that I can have fun with anyone. Like back in high school, I wasn't the most popular person, But since going to college and possibly like I blossomed at college, like I found that I can get along with a bunch of different types of people. And so because of
Mm,
that, bro, what it showed me is that, you know, I can't base things on the things that I was basing back then. So, I did have some friends, and I bro, when I say like there's just about one person, and the main reason why he and I are really connected is through a mutual friend. Through a mutual
mm,
friend. And yet he's a person who I can still say, that's my boy, that's my friend. Like I
yeah,
would invite him to
yeah,
my wedding. So
yeah,
so yeah, man. It's like that. But I think that when you're younger, the reality is that I don't think you come up with terms like acquaintance. I think that I didn't start using or really identifying, labeling an individual as an acquaintance until college.
yeah,
Because I think for
mhm,
me, when I was in grade school, like anyone could be a friend,
yeah,
anyone. But it wasn't
yeah,
until like I started really getting in trouble and college, right? That I was like, oh, this is what real friendship is.
mm,
Not And so yeah,
mhm,
man. Not that, not that. And so to the question that I think we both were asking, there have been some instances where I've thus had to reassess. Do I want certain relationships? And bro, I realized I closed the door like on a number of like I closed the door on a number of relationships, and it was
yeah,
because I realized I don't like who I am when I'm with you. Like, or I don't like who I was when we were spending time together. And so for me, it's really about like, well, if we were to get back together and if we were to really talk through and really reconnect, what would we have in common? What would it be that we have
mm,
in common? And so when I think about those things, of course, I say, hey, I definitely have to reassess if that makes sense, bro. If that makes
yeah.
sense.
It does, it does, it does. And I love what you said. Your definition of friendship changed. Like, if having fun is the only standard for you having friend or calling that person a friend, then you might need to go back and reevaluate,
Yes.
the standards you have in your life,
Yeah.
because fun, bro, is such a low standard. Like, you
Mhm.
can have fun with a stranger,
Yeah.
and you could have the best time in your life, but you can't trust them with a key to your house.
Mhm.
And uh, maybe we can go back just a little bit.
Mhm.
Does everyone have to be your friend?
No, 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 no. I used to think so. I used to think so, but more than anything, no. Like when I tell you, like um, I remember one day I was hanging out with some of my friends at Oakwood, right, in college. And I remember we were at this place called the Market. We have like this little store on campus that all of us used to go to. Um, and you could buy certain goods. It used to be open even when the cafeteria would close.
Mm,
And if you didn't like the food in the cafeteria, the caf, which we call it, you can at least get like your typical stuff at the market. They had veggie burgers because at Oakwood, if you're not a Venice, they did not serve meat. They didn't serve meat on campus. Because it's part of our health message, right? So they would give us like veggie burgers, fries, things like that. All good, right? And so I remember um, I went to the market one day with a couple of friends, and what's interesting is that um, at the market, it's a very weird space because you have a
mm,
group of people who pretty much only spend their time at the market and at the gym because the market is right next to the gym. And what's interesting is that my people were not market people. We were only in the market to get food. It was rare that I actually sat in the market and after getting food. But you had people, Elijah, who used to be in the market all day long, bro, all day long.
Oh,
and so, you know, what ended up at? Oh, what you gonna ask? What you gonna ask?
no, no, what are the characteristics of the market people? Like, are they on their laptops working? Are they talking? Like, what's the
Typically, like skipping class, or like they're the people who finesse school, right?
gotcha?
They're either the people who finesse school, or they're the guys who like are really into like basketball. And
Mm,
I didn't. I'm a football guy. Like
yeah,
football. Like I could watch NBA, but I'm not playing. I don't care about
yeah,
basketball that much.
yeah,
And so typically, a lot of guys who get high, a lot of guys who, if you like a theology major, you probably judging them low key, you know,
yeah,
and you don't really got that much in common. You don't got that much in
yeah,
common. I was doing
yeah,
ministry activities on campus. These guys were not, okay? And so I had mutual friends. I had mutual friends who were friends with these guys. And see,
yeah,
getting to the point, there was a certain point where I felt like, dang, I'm missing out. Like, man, I kind of sort of want to know these guys too. I want to be able to be in on like the inside jokes that they got as well. Like, I see my homeboy like really clicking, and it makes sense like to him the jokes that are being made, but me like really sheltered, not really out there, not really on social media like that. Me,
mm,
I'm missing out on a conversation, and so I'm like, dang, I feel like I should know. I should know these people because I want to be friends with everybody. And what took me like 5 to 7 years, right, of adulthood, is
mhm,
to learn and figure out that not everyone has to be my friend. I don't have to know
mm,
everyone, and I don't need to know everyone either. And so I don't believe, you know, that I got to be friends with everyone. What about you?
yeah, yeah, man. I would take it because I would 100% agree with you. Not everyone has to be your friends, and at the same time, not everyone has to be your enemy, right? So we should always have more friends or strive to have more friends than enemies.
Ooh,
But then what falls in the middle, right, is the word that we've been using, acquaintances, right? People that aren't really
how do you slow
go
down,
ahead.
slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
You out here making enemies?
No. No, but you can though, right? Because like if you're that theology major walking down the pathway, right, and you see the market, right, and you walk through, you kind of glare at all the individuals there, right? You're kind of making, not
You're not.
not
I mean,
enemies,
bro, you're not.
but
You don't
but
glare.
definitely
You don't
not
glare
friends.
at them. You don't glare
No,
at
no,
them.
I'm saying, right? Like if you go through and you are not kind or you don't say hi or like kind of just glare through, like they're definitely not your friends and they're not gonna help you out and like if you ever need it.
Like, no, I'm like, okay. I don't want
Not you,
anyone to
not
think. I
you,
don't.
not
I just
you.
okay.
No,
Just
no,
making sure.
no. Not you, not you. I'm saying like a hypothetical theology major, right? Like
Just
not
making sure.
looking right, yeah.
Just making
Definitely not
sure.
you because
Like,
you're not that
cause
guy.
I
Yeah.
can judge a person. I can judge a person like, and they wouldn't even know. Like I
Yeah.
dap them up and everything. Like, and it's just yeah. And my mind is racing. My mind is racing. You know, like yeah. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Cause like my eyebrows like be moving like
Mhm.
when I'm upset, and they be moving when I'm excited at the same time. So
So you can't
like
really tell.
you can't be like, hey, you good? Like
Mhm.
your eyebrows a little like your eyebrows real active right now. And it's just like, oh, I can't help it. Like even now, like since I've been a kid, I've been doing the rock eyebrow. I've been doing it. I can do it with
Yeah,
both of them.
yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, bro, you can't tell. So just making sure. But yes, you're right.
Not you.
It is better to
Yeah.
make friends than to make enemies.
Right.
Sorry for
Right.
derailing the conversation.
No, no, no. No. Well, I wanna make sure that people know it's not you. But, like, if you're not but if everyone can't be your friend, right,
Yeah,
and you should not be making enemies,
yeah.
right, then the sweet spot in between that most people should fall in between, right, is them being your acquaintance, which means that you're cordial with them, right? Like
Mhm.
if you see them, you say hi, you're genuinely want to get to know them a bit, right?
Yes.
And you want their well-being, right? I think when I was introduced to acquaintances, acquaintances were a group of people that you were really frenemies with. So they were like your friends, but low key you were working against each other
What
in the
the
background.
world? What? Can you explain? Give me an example. Give me a story. Give me a story, bro. Because
A
this don't
story. All right.
that.
All right. So I'll give you a church example because I think most of our followers are in the church, right? So let's
Yeah.
say you're on praise team, right? And this happened, right? You're on praise team, and everyone on praise team you're cool with, right? And you guys come in, you say hi, hey, what's up, right? You're going through your vocal exercises, do re mi fa sol la ti, or whatever, right? And then as you're going through that, right? You guys share information with each other. Now, here is the difference between a friend and a frenemy, right? A friend will take that information in and say, "Oh wow," right? And if you're going through something, they'll sympathize with you, right? A frenemy will take that information in, sympathize with you, and then go and share that information with somebody else for the explicit purpose of tearing you down. So let's say me and you were in pricing together, right?
Mhm.
And then we're talking about stuff, and then I go, "Hey, Jajuan, like I'm going through this right now in school,
Mhm.
right? And I got a bad grade on this test, and I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to be in my class right now, right?
Yeah.
And I need some extra help, right? If you were a friend, right, you'll take that in, sympathize with me, right? And
Yeah.
then follow up to make sure I'm okay, which you are, right? But if you were a frenemy, right, you take that in, you'd sympathize, and the next chance you have to share that information with somebody else, right? You go, hey, he's not that smart, right? Like he looks like he's smart because he's Indian, but really like
What? What? That was wild, bro. That
and
was wild.
but what's crazy is, bro, like that happens where people will be in the same groups, man. Like at church too, right? You'll be in the same committees or like the same groups building in the same thing. And
Yeah.
then like you'll be like, hey, like he has some good ideas, but he's never followed up with anything. Right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between sharing that with the leader to make a decision and then sharing that with another individual that has nothing to do with it. And that's the way that acquaintances were kind of put to me at first. I was like, I don't want any acquaintances because I'm not on any bad terms with anybody. But
Yeah.
really, acquaintances are the majority of people in your life. I'll make that statement.
Mhm.
The majority of people in our life are acquaintances.
Yeah.
They
And
Yeah.
and it sounds like they're not loyal to you.
Mhm.
Like, because when I hear that type of situation, I think of a person who's not loyal. If we're giving like an example, like if a person preaches, and they don't really do the best. And when I say they
Mhm.
don't really do the best, um, from our angle, it's there's a portion where we're like, yeah, we want to make sure that we're convicting people, but there's also kind of sort of like a performance portion to this, where like the delivery is good and we're not stuttering too much and things like
The
that.
style. Yeah.
Like the difference between a friend versus an acquaintance is a friend won't be like, yeah, that was bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they can't really preach. They can't really preach. Like versus a friend who'll be like, "Hey, bro, it was good. It was good,
Yeah.
and we,
Yeah.
we still got some work to do." That like
Mhm.
that's the difference. That's the
That's a
difference.
friend.
That is yes, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I take it a step further, right, and say, "Hey, like, a acquaintance is someone that can't share hard truths with you
Mm.
because they don't have the
Can I say
relation."
that?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can I put a caveat on that?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they could share a hard truth with you for your betterment. Because I,
Mm.
I think I
Yeah.
think I think I think acquaintances can share hard truths with you. I just think that it's more so for your detriment than
Mm.
for your elevation. So yeah.
It's that sly. You didn't really hit that note that well.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
could practice a bit more, can't you? Like, yeah, 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 yeah. I can see that. I can see
I've
that.
seen because I've seen even church people, church members. They're pretty much most church members are your acquaintance. You're not friends with most of your church members, and you don't necessarily have to be, right?
Hmm.
But there have been several church members who have made judgments and made comments to us, and they are hurtful, sometimes harmful comments. And let's be honest, sometimes it wasn't necessarily for our betterment.
Mm.
Sometimes it really was just to make themselves feel better.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
let's
Hmm.
just be
Hmm.
honest. So yeah, man, you speaking facts though. You talking. You
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
So go
Like acquaintances can go both ways,
ahead.
right? Like they're not always good and they're not always bad, right? And I think if we can approach it saying you have to graduate out of the acquaintance section in my life. Like for me, I used to think, "Hey, I will trust you right until you lose my trust." And that's where I generally come from for all my friends. But for acquaintances, I've gotten to the point where I regulate what information I share and what information I don't until
Mhm,
you've earned and you've graduated from being a acquaintance into a friend. Because a friend can handle, "Hey, I'm speaking," or I think I like this person, what do you think about that? And then knowing that that stays between me and that person. A
yeah.
acquaintance I can't trust that with because it might spread and continue to go on. But bro, like what do you think are the major differences between like the acquaintances in your life and a friend in your life? Like what.
So man, it's interesting. This kind of sort of like reminds me, TD Jakes. I think he actually had like he did a sermon, on Friends, right?
Mhm.
And he actually gave like different titles and he gave like the distinctions.
Yeah.
Because of course he talked about acquaintances. Of course, he talked about friends. But he also came up with like different terms like comrades, right?
Mm.
Um, and
I
so
think I
like
remember that.
here's what I understand about acquaintances, right? Y- for a person to be an acquaintance, like your relationship is tied to the fact that um your relationship is tied to the fact that you have something in common but there's no loyalty there. Okay.
Mm.
um and and as long as you have that thing in common, right? Not necessarily that you're working towards something together, but as long as
Mhm.
you have that thing in common,
Mhm.
y'all can kind of sort of relate on that thing, but it doesn't necessarily go anything beyond that. Like you like that particular thing about that person because you have that thing in common with that
Right.
person. That's when I
Right.
think of when I think about an acquaintance. um Another term I don't think it's used as often, but associates, right?
Mm.
I think that I've been told, and I think even in his message on this, TD Jakes, I think he said this, and I hope I'm getting it right. It was like years ago, but he said that associates are kind of sort of like these individuals. The only reason why you actually have relationship with them is because you have like geographical like a tie to them.
Mhm.
Like many of our classmates are associates because we are in the same class, but beyond the fact that we're classmates, aka associates, there is
Mhm.
nothing that brings us into association with each other. So our
Mm.
relationship only goes as far as, what is kind of sort of bringing us together. Um, and then, what he said about comrades, this is what I found interesting. He said a comrade is an individual who is on your side because you both have the same goal. Um,
Mm.
and so it could be someone who, like, we're Christians. And so we're technically comrades when it comes to our beliefs because we have like a similar goal of getting to heaven. Um, And then when it came down to like friends are the individuals where there is essentially, and this is me talking, there's reciprocity there. You
Mhm.
know, um, like an acquaintance. I'll say this is a person who you can be a friend to, right?
Mhm.
A friend, someone that I call friend, is an individual who I'm friends with, right? It's not just I'm being friendly to you, but no, like it's reciprocal. It's not only am I being and I'm showing up in a certain way, but the expectation is that you are also doing it for me. And I would even say this, bro.
Mhm.
There's a difference between a friend and a close friend.
Yeah.
Um, because I want to say that Jesus was possibly if we're relating, he was friends with his disciples, right?
Mhm.
Just relating, but he was close
Right.
friends with Peter, James, and John,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And what I say is that even there are certain friends who can't receive certain truths and who can't have access to certain truths for you. And the reason why is not even just because you can't trust them. That's not even like the main reason for me as to why there has to be a distinction between friends and close friends. What I'm realizing is that some individuals simply can't properly steward the truths that you give them. Like,
Mm.
there's a difference because I'm not a person who operates out of, am I afraid that I can't trust you or I don't feel like I can trust? No, I'm not that type of guy. I'm a type
Mhm.
of guy that operates out of, do I believe that you are responsible enough to properly steward what I'm going to give you?
Right.
Because I've been in situations where I've gotten in trouble lots and lots and lots of times, because I knew a lot of people, and I was this person who wanted to help a lot of people.
Mhm.
And the truth is that individuals were sharing truths with me that I did not know how to properly steward. And
Mm.
so there would be times when I would tell an individual, and sometimes it was because I was trying to be helpful, right? I was
Mhm.
really trying to be helpful, but I chose the wrong person to tell and trying to be
Mm.
helpful and then blew stuff up, right? I didn't know the right person to go to. There were other times when I was really being messy and I was just like, "Hey, I heard this thing. I heard I heard this. Did you hear this? That's crazy." And like the problem is that the information that I heard, I ended up telling like a close friend
Of
of
the
the individual. And because they were like, "Oh no, this person not gonna do that to my friend," they ended up telling a friend, and I got in trouble. I broke a couple up because of that in college. In college, you know, not trying to get into it, but let me be messy real quick because it's been years.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say their names, but there was this couple who had been on again, off again. Um, and I would say they were more on than off, right?
Mhm.
But they were on again, off again throughout their time in school. And you know, um, one person in the relationship was telling me that, um, they had been unfaithful. They
Mhm.
stepped out, and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy." The other person ended up telling me, "Yeah, that happened," um, and they had kind of sort of did the same thing too. And so they
Mhm.
both were like, "Yeah, we need to take a break. We need to stop this." Problem is that you know the individual wasn't truthful about how many times they ended up being with that person. They lied
Wow.
about it. They lied about it. And so when I was talking to friend C, friend C, because we're mutual friends of these individuals, um, friend C was like, "Yeah, yeah, he told me stepped out this one time," and I was like, "Nah, bro."
You corrected him?
What you mean, boy? I was like, "What you mean, boy?"
That's insane.
They said they told me they stepped out this many times, and the friend was like, "What? What? They did that to they did that to him? What?" And I was like, "Bro, we gotta be, bro. This ain't our situation. We out of this." And
Right,
he was
right.
just like, "Yeah, you right. You right." Next morning, I'm getting a
Never,
call at
ever.
like 5 a.m. Did you tell them? Did you tell them? And I was like, nah, I didn't tell them. I was like, I don't know. And then I called a friend and he was like, bro, I'm sorry. Like I couldn't help it. I couldn't have my boy out. I couldn't have my boy out here looking dumb. Like, and I was like, they weren't looking dumb. They were both unfaithful. They were both unfaithful. What you mean?
That's crazy.
like,
That's good.
like it doesn't matter at this point. They were both unfaithful. You know, I was
Yeah,
like, we were supposed to stay out of it. And I was like, you know what? I can't handle this anymore. And so I've done it. I've done it. You know, there have been times when I had good intentions. There have been
yeah.
times when I had, immature intentions, right?
Mhm.
But what I've learned is that, you have to be able to trust people. You have
Yeah.
not no, you have to be able to like not just trust people. That's like scarcity mindset. You have to
Mhm.
be able to see that an individual is like mature and responsible enough to
Sure.
properly deal with what you're going to share with them,
Yeah.
And I realized that even in my life, I wasn't always the most mature.
Yeah.
Like there have been some
Mhm.
times where a person told me certain information, right? And we're both guys.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it was like for you, but I know like back in high school and even in college, you know, it was always easy for guys to be like, yeah, man, that her right there, man, she gave me some last week or she gave me some this past weekend.
Yeah.
And me, like just talking about properly stewarding, right? If I'm a friend to you and I'm a believer, right? And I believe in what the Bible tells us about like, living righteously. Like
Mhm.
the responsible person who's trying to steward that relationship would say, yeah, bro, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Like, you probably shouldn't be messing around with her and then like talking about her in this way with me. Like, she not a human. She not some like
Mm.
she's not a masturbation toy like
Mhm.
that you're just using to get off. Like, you
Right.
shouldn't be talking like I respect it, like this is cool, but like this is not
Is it
mature.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but that wasn't the case. I'd be like, word, bro, word, she did that. Word? Sometimes they
Mm.
would, like, show pictures, like, of,
Yeah.
like, nudes and stuff like that, and I'll be like, "Dang, bro, that's insane, man."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, dude, I wasn't properly stewarding it, and the crazy thing is that there are still several people who operate like this.
They still
Like,
do,
several
yeah.
people who are older than us, bro. They're in their
Mhm.
30s,
Yeah.
40s, and they
Yeah.
still got group chats and text chains
That share stuff. Yeah,
about,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the women who they're frolicking with and gallivanting with. And
Mhm.
so it's just like for me, it's about understanding. And this has been long, and I'm sorry. But,
No, you're good.
this has really, what I'm really learning is that individuals need to be mature and they need to be responsible so that
Mhm.
they can handle like the heavy truths that you are sharing with them. It's more
Yeah.
than just can you keep this to yourself. At times it's about can you correct this person, can you rebuke this person,
Mm.
with the information that they are giving to
That's
you.
good.
Because as believers we still have a responsibility. We still have a
We do.
responsibility, like, hey, we don't act the same way that other people act. So yeah,
That's
that was
good,
long,
man.
but
No, solid, solid, because it made me think about how oftentimes we think someone has wronged us, but we don't go and say, "Hey, this is how how you made me feel," or, "Hey, why did you share l the thing I told you?" Or, "Why didn't you help me process it better?" Uh,
Mm,
and
mm,
and what I think what
facts.
okay, so, like, me personally, right? Uh, I remember in college, I was talking to this girl, And before it even started, right, I just saw her like first day in class, right? I was like, oh wow, like she's cute, right?
Mm,
And she sat behind me, and I didn't have any intention of like pursuing it at all. And then
mhm,
what ended up happening was I found out that she and a friend of mine that was theology major were kind of talking, right? So I said, all right, like, hey, that's my friend. I'm not gonna do anything, right? So I made space and I didn't pursue it at all because I had no intention of it.
mm,
And then one day, I was taking voice lessons with a teacher off campus, and then turns out that she was interning at that school that I was having voice lessons at, and we would
mm.
kind of see each other,
Yeah.
right? Because I would be in the room doing my voice lessons, and then she would bring her class out, and we were like, "Hey, during my class, we saw each other, said hi, blah 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 blah," and then that kind of blossomed into a genuine friendship.
Yeah.
And then I found out, like maybe like a week or two later, that they had stopped talking through my friend.
Mm,
And then she came out, and then that I think that same week or the week after that, we were talking with. I was outside of my voice lesson, waiting to be let into the room, and then she comes by with her students. We chat for a little bit, and then she gives me her number,
no, she
right?
did not. No,
Yeah.
she did
Uh,
not. And you
she
did not take that thing.
I did take it. Um,
We in a better
because
we in a better place now.
no. Because here's the thing, they didn't really date. As far as I knew, right? They didn't date. They were just texting and talking, right? And it had ended, like completely ended. Yeah.
But she no, okay. Understood. Understood.
Yeah. Well, so this is me operating like, hey, all right, like it's over, right? And I made sure that I got her number and I said, hey, I saw you talking with my friend, da da da. Like he's my boy. Like I'm not trying to like get in between, what you both have,
Yeah.
right? And she said, hey, like we're done. Like there's no going back. That door is closed and it's shut, and we're good. Uh,
Yeah.
and then and then I said, all right, cool, right? And we started texting and talking, and we went out. And then in that process, I found out that he knew that I was talking to her because she would come by and sit next to me in class.
Yeah.
And you know what the craziest part of all this
Yeah. What happened?
is that it was a Christian ethics class.
Oh, of
Um,
course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course.
and she was a psychology major,
Mm,
and we were like figuring it out, and then through like and he was a fellow theology major, so when he found out, right, he texted our mutual friends. I was like, I can't believe that Elijah is talking to this girl. Like, I thought he knew that I liked her, da 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 da. And then I told my friend, like I said, hey, if he has a problem, he could come and talk to me about it.
yeah.
like we are adults, and
We're grown
also
men.
he has my number.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And we're
he has
friends.
my number, right? And we're friends. Yeah, and we see each other in like meetings, we're in class together. I was like, he can pull me aside and talk to me, and then
I
so
have a
like
question.
yeah,
Pause.
yeah,
Pause. 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 Like, just big messy. Um,
yeah.
like before there was any sign that they were talking, like you were putting it out there into the atmosphere that you like her or that you're interested in,
No,
right?
no.
Oh,
Like I walked into class, I saw her, and I was like, dang, she's fine. And then I sat right in my seat. I just I said hi because it's class, and then I sat in my seat and it was class. I didn't turn around.
so
Yeah.
pause. So you were aware that your friend was engaging with her then?
Yeah, because I saw him sit right next to her, and he was engaged talking, so, like, I said,
No, I
I'm
mean
not in
like
this.
when I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
talking, I mean like you were aware that he was talking to her.
Yeah, like, so not I immediately, but I saw that he sat next to her, and they were chatting,
No,
and then
no.
like, a week or 2 later, I found out that they were actually talking.
Okay, okay. Did he tell you?
Well, no, he didn't explicitly say that they were talking, but I found out through
Your friend,
our
your
mutual
friend,
friends, yeah,
and,
that
and
like they were
so
actually
and so just being messy.
yeah.
And so your friend could have gone back to him and said, "Oh yeah, he knew that y'all were talking at a certain point."
He could have, yeah.
I ain't gonna
He
hold.
could have.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. In that type of situation, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. In that type of situation, like you the problem.
Bro, okay, okay, listen.
And
I
here's why,
I yeah, yeah. Please.
bro code. Like,
Bro,
there is an immature bro code where like if you like if you know one of your other guys has been interested or has been talking to a person,
yeah,
you check and be like, yo, hey, like, is this happening? Is it not? If you know, if I'm just checking because like I ain't trying to go after the same girl,
yeah.
like that can get
Bro,
messy.
so here's the thing. There was no overlap. There was no overlap. Like
No,
when
no, no, no,
things
no, no, no,
between
no,
them
no, no, no,
ended,
no. No, you don't,
yeah.
you're not understanding. You're not understanding.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah. Oh, so
you
you
know
want
how
me to text him ahead of time, be like, yo, like I'm interested. I heard it's
I'm saying
over.
how childish we are. How childish
Yeah,
we are. This is what I mean. What I mean is that, even if a person, even if your friend has dated a person and they're
yeah,
done, and then you be like,
yeah.
dang, she kind of attractive.
Bro, they never dated like that though. Like they were just
No, 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 no,
texting.
no, no. It doesn't matter. They were talking. They were talking.
Okay.
And this is
Yeah, yeah.
college. This is
It's
college.
college.
And
Yeah.
and so like because you knew that they were talking
Yeah. Yeah.
and you never like you either did not like say no altogether, like nah, that's my friends,
Yeah.
or go to him. Technically, bro,
It
based
was
on
me.
like TV shows and based on
Yeah.
like the colleges that we've went to,
Yeah, yeah.
technically you kind of
I'm
were
the dog. I'm the dog. Yeah.
technically, bro.
Bro, like at that point, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I was a dog. But
Yo, Elijah is a dog.
but but here's the thing though, man. We would be in the same meetings, like we'd be like I'd see him like in real life and I would
Yeah.
dap him up while I was dating the girl and nothing. Like he didn't talk about it. He didn't bring it up. And I said, all right, we're cool. But again, like I guess that was me thinking through it now. It's like, all right, I got away with it because he's not mad at me.
So I will say this: if he had a problem with what you did, he definitely should have like Matthew 18 is a thing. You
Yeah.
know, is it 18 or 15? Like it's a
Matthew 8. 8,
8.
right? Yeah, right. 8.
If you
I'm like pretty sure it's 8
if you have
or 6.
odd with your
But
brother, okay, it's Matthew 18. I think it's Matthew 18
18.
verse 15.
18. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Mhm.
Just making sure we're good. We're good theologians. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you have aught with your brother, you go and you talk to him.
Mhm.
That is what scripture says,
Right.
or AKA fellow believer. If you have aught with your fellow believer, you go
Going.
and you talk to that
Right.
believer. And so
Right.
he did not. He talked to a friend, you know.
And
So
all I'm saying is like right now is back then and even right now, right?
he
If
ain't, he
I
ain't going to your church.
he's not.
All
He's
right, I'm
not.
done. I'm done.
He's
I'm done.
not. He's not. And also her and I like we lasted maybe like 6 months and that was messy too, bro, cuz I was just not where I needed to be spiritually. So like we were kind of like on and on and off again.
Yeah.
uh, for like a year, and then even the way I ended that, I felt like really, really bad. But
It's all right, bro. It's all right, dog. It happens.
I would have appreciated, man, and thank you, I appreciate that. Like, I would have liked, and I still right now, like, if I have ever offended a friend,
Mhm,
right, and we're in close proximity to each other, where I see friends being friends is coming and say, "Hey, like, I thought we were clear on this one area," or, "Hey, I shared that with you in confidence, and now it's out," and just being upfront with it and not kind of closing it in. I know that that's hard to do, to, like, go to individuals you've shared things with or you feel wronged by, but really, I feel like that's what kind of brings closure in a bit, and then helps you to understand, "Hey, that this particular person might not be someone that I need to have, as a close friend,
mhm. I
because they haven't earned that right."
dude, I think it's important. One, I gotta say this. Like there are certain triggers, certain triggers, that I think each of us just has to recognize that we have. Like me, I don't like being around people who gossip.
Mhm.
Um, like I don't trust myself with it. I don't want to be around it. Like don't complain around me because I hate people who complain all the time. Like I hate you.
Yeah.
And don't be a person who gossips around me. I hate you too. Okay.
Mhm.
When I say hate, I mean I love something else more than I love you. That's the Bible definition of hate. You know, when Jesus said, if I forget what did he say? If you love me, you must hate your brother. Your what is it?
Oh, um, it's the dividing thing, right?
If you follow me or if you love me,
Yeah, yeah.
you must hate your
Right.
brother. And yeah, like that. Not like I actually hate you because I love you as a Christian. You know,
Mhm.
but I love people who don't gossip more than I love.
Mm.
I love. I'm not Jesus. I don't got infinite love, but here's what I like. I understand my trigger, like understand the trigger. And I think it's important for individuals to know who just is not like good. And here's why. Um, Back in the day, I used to like feel conflicted. There would be individuals who would like critique or sometimes dog like some of my friends, and
Mhm.
they would do it around me, right?
Mhm.
And I would like let them like, well, this is their opinion. Um, and I think I've kind of should have learned like, no, that's not
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I think I've learned that if I see you do it, I won't go around you, or
Mm.
I will limit the conversations that we have. Like if I see you like kind of sort of going into that, I'll be like, yeah, how you feel about the Ravens? Or I'll just be
Mm.
like, "Oh, yeah, man, yeah. Hey, I'll talk to you later," and then I'll move
Yeah.
on. Because it's just like it's messy. Because one, I feel like I have to go to my friend,
Mhm.
and I have to say like, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to be messy, but some individuals are saying these things about you. I just think that it's important. I would want to know if individuals
Right.
were saying this about me. Um, and they probably ask who said it, who said it, and this
Mhm.
where we get in trouble because sometimes
Yeah.
people don't know who said it, and at times you can tell you sometimes you can tell your friends who said it, but
Mhm.
sometimes you can't tell your friends who said it because
Yeah.
your friend might be like, "Hey, Jajuan told me, that you said dot 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 dot
They
dot," and
can't steward it. Yeah, yeah.
like, and it's just like, "Hey, friend, you, hey." I'm not gonna be able to tell you when people talking about you. Like I'm just gonna be letting them talk about you because
Right.
you're not gonna make me look bad. Cause I'm your inside scoop to let you
Right.
know how our bosses are feeling about you.
Right.
But you can't be like you can't be throwing both of us underneath the
On the
bus.
bus. Yeah, yeah.
'Cause no, you just learn how to move differently. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
need to learn how to do. You move
Mm-hmm.
differently. You don't throw
Yeah.
both of us under the bus. Because if you throw me under the bus with you, that means I gotta distance myself from you because you now look crazy. Like that's what it means when you have messy friends. That's what happens when
Hmm.
you have messy friends, okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
irrational friends. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and so I think it's important. And what lesson I think is important to understand is that intentions matter, but impact
Hmm.
also matters, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some individuals who just got like some pretty poor intentions, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes their intentions aren't malicious. Sometimes they're just really immature,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not that. Sometimes it's not about oh they hate me. Sometimes it's just about
They're
you
just
know like some people really are just gossipers.
yeah.
There's a difference between gossip and slander. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like like some people are just really nosy and they really like to talk about people
Hmm.
business. Like the Wendy
Yeah.
Williams show. That show I
Yeah.
think was built around talking about celebrity gossip. Like,
Mm.
but there are some individuals who are just really like trying to end your life with the
Hmm.
information that they know about you, like
Hmm.
Satan, like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it's really important. It's really important that you can indeed, bro, make the decision as to who is a friend and who is an acquaintance, who is an associate, who is a
Hmm.
close friend. Because the sooner you do, the sooner you'll be able to avoid issues. And I just have to say, I'm too close to 30 to be trying to figure out, who I should and should not be sharing certain information with. Mm-mm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
I'm with
know
you on
your
that one.
triggers, people. Know your triggers. That's what I'll
Make it
say.
triggers. Yeah. I feel like there's a part two to this.
Yeah.
Um
In our spirit, it's
coming
in our
in.
spirit.
Yeah. 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 I feel like there's a part two to this,
Yeah,
and we'll make sure to post that as well. But we want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode. We want to know, hey, what are your friends like? What are your criterias? Have you been a bad friend like me? Have you you know or are you like the both of us continue to grow and to figure out what that looks like? We want to journey with this together as we kind of build out this two young pastors community. Jawan, bro, I can say that you, my friend, are not just an acquaintance and a friend, but you are someone that is at the highest echelons of
I
people that I can
appreciate that, man.
trust.
Groomsmen,
Man, bro, you have a lot of close friends, man, and it is a privilege to be a part of that. It's a privilege.
I really do love people. I really do love people. No matter how much I talk to them or how much I don't, I when I say that they're my people, they're my people. So yeah. And
Hmm.
I feel the same way
Hmm.
about you, man. So,
Yeah.
listen, y'all, thank you so much for joining us.
Hmm.
And we look forward to seeing you next time. All right, y'all.
See you guys.
Peace.